get with their mama like that's a dude out on the street. I don't want nobody like that either, because if he's willing to do the woman who brought him in the world like that, he'll do me like that, and that ain't gonna be a good. Hi, welcome to the Watch and Whisper channel, where if I'm interested, I'm talking about it. Well, I had a conversation with some of the followers on my Facebook Watch and Whisper group page, and I asked them, what would y'all like me to talk about on my YouTube channel? And they talked, and unanimously, it was relationships. Well, let me first start off by saying I'm not an expert. Trust and believe that I'm not an expert at dating. However, what I decided to do was to ask some of the followers in my group, ages 30 to 60 plus, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you're looking for when it comes to relationships? What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? Well, I didn't get a lot of response from men. A lot of my responses all came from women, and that's well and good. They may see this video and decide, what, I'm gonna chime in on the comments, and that's great. Go ahead and chime in on the comments. But I'm gonna go ahead. I kind of separated everything, and I have a whole list. I separated it by age group and what that specific age group said that they were looking for, or what they really need in a relationship. And again, remember, a lot of these comments came from women. There were no men. One man sent me some topics. However, I was requesting do's and don'ts, like what is it that you want to do or don't want to do, or that you want people to do while you're in a relationship. What are you actually looking for? So I'm going to go over what I was told, chime in here and there. But again, let me preface all of this by saying I'm no expert. Trust and believe that I'm not an expert when it comes to dating. Hell, this all is just you learning. When you're in a relationship, you're learning all the time. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is some of the responses I got from women that were 40 plus. And this is the first thing that was kind of unanimous was they got to have honesty. She said honesty is a must. And she said give her options and let her decide if she wants to go along whatever it is that you got going on or not. She really said that to say for instance, y'all are dating, but then you decide you want to see Sabrina over here on this side. She was saying, be honest with her and tell her what it is that you're trying to do. And then let her decide if she wants to still date you while you're going off seeing Sabrina or Monique or whoever it is that you want to see. She said, give her the option to decide. Hold on, fixing my camera. Give her the option if she want to continue seeing you while you're seeing someone else. And she was saying she just want honesty. She was saying that she find that a lot of men are not always transparent and honest. But on the flip side, I'm sure a lot of men say that they find women that are not transparent and honest. That goes hand in hand. If you're going to give it to this side, you got to give it to this side too. So this is the 40 plus group. And she said that's one thing that she wants is honesty. She said that's a must. So just remember, if you really want honesty for a man, be willing to accept his honesty. What you're asking for in honesty might not be something that you can handle, but flip that over, men. If you want women to truly be honest with you, you got to be able to accept her honesty as well. All righty. So one of the next things that was on the list is must be an effective communicator. And I told her, I said, okay, excuse me. I say, give me a little context to that. What exactly are you saying when you say he must be an effective communicator? And she was saying he has to be able to express how he feels versus expecting her to try to figure it out. I said, okay, I can go along with that. But I'm quite sure there are a lot of men out there who say that they want women to kind of just say what they want, say what they mean, say how they feel, and not expect him to understand what it is. And I can fully understand that. Nobody's a mind reader. You have to be able to say, okay, I want you to do A, B, and C, and then I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And if you're not fully saying that, the communication is going to get lost somewhere in the middle. You're going to say something. He or she is going to assume you mean one thing and maybe act accordingly based on what their assumption is and not necessarily what you're actually trying to say. So it would probably be a good idea to be upfront and express what it is that you're trying to say. And I know that's not always easy. That's not always easy. Sometimes you won't say what you really want to say because you deeply care for someone or you love someone and you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you don't want them to see you in a different light or take what you say the wrong way. So communication is important. You just have to find out what is the right communication style for the two people that are involved. But you have to be able to communicate. Okay, remember, this is some of the ladies in the 40 plus group. This is what they were telling me. Next thing is the men must keep their word. And that's important. Everybody wants somebody to be accountable to them, keep their word. And she say, if you say that you're going to do something, please follow through and do it. Well, I can understand that. Hey, everybody wants someone. If I tell you I'm going to do something, you expect me to keep my word and actually do it. I get it. But the men also expect the women to keep their word. So just make sure that you're keeping your word. But that can mean anything. If someone just tells you, hey, I'm going to be over there and cut your grass at 2 o'clock, you expect that person to keep their word. And I know that's very generalized, but we do expect the people that we're dealing with to keep their word. That's really important, because if they're not keeping that word, then you're going to feel like they're not trustworthy. You're not going to believe what they say. It's going to cause doubt. So just make sure if you're telling somebody you're going to do something, keep your word. Now, again, we understand things happen and you might not be able to keep your word. Communicate. Go back and communicate. Let them know why you're unable to keep your word and why you're not going to be able to do what you said you were going to do. Next thing, she said, this was another female, she said, to please do the little things. And I said, okay, you got to give me some context to that. What do you mean by doing the little things? What does that mean? What is that? Picking up a pencil for you? Tell me, what do you mean? She said, doing the little things, meaning, why don't you cook for her sometime? And if you can't cook, just order out. Don't expect her to always cook. Now, that can go both ways, but hey, this is what the female said, so I'm gonna keep it on that. She said also, be willing to do the laundry sometime, wash the car sometime. There are some ladies who never wash a car. The man always does it, but there are situations where a woman washes her car and the man doesn't. That doesn't make him any less of a man, or it doesn't mean that he doesn't care about her. It just means she washed her car, he doesn't. Everybody's situation is a little different. But this particular lady says she just wished that the man would do some of the smaller things that he may not be thinking about that's important to her. But I guess that also goes back to being able to communicate and expressing what it is that you need that person to do. Okay, she also said about random gifts when it comes to doing the little things. Don't just wait for her birthday or for Christmas, Mother's Day. Make sure you're doing it throughout the year. It doesn't have to be anything grand. That wasn't what she was saying. And I can understand that. You don't want somebody to just think about you on a special occasion. Flowers here and there. But also, ladies, now we got to flip that. You have to be willing to do that for them too. You can't always expect them to do everything for you. You're not being reciprocal with those efforts. So make sure that you're doing some of the things that you're expecting him to do for you as well. So buy him a gift when it's not his birthday, when it's not Christmas, Father's Day, or it's some event. Do it when you just think about him. Send them a card in the mail. That goes a long way. Depending on who you're sending it to, they may not like it, but find out what they like. Find out what their thing is and do that every now and then, just out the blue. Just decide, you know what? I'm gonna send them a edible. What's that? Not edible. What's those things? The fruit thing. Just something like that. Just to say, hey, I was thinking about you, and I wanted to send this to you. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Again, like you can buy a card and send it in the mail. And when he's going to pick up bills at the mailbox, he might get a bill like, damn, but then get a card from you. Oh, that was nice of her. I'm just being silly with that. But I'm just saying, sometimes just do something that's outside of the norm when it comes to gift giving. And that's what she was saying. She wanted simple gifts when it wasn't an occasion, but just because it was random and you thought about her. So again, women, make sure if you're expecting those things, be willing to do that in return. And send flowers. Flowers are always nice. Flowers are always nice. You can send flowers just because somebody's always running the sale. Hell, you can pick them up at Walgreens, Walmart, Kroger's, your local grocery store. You can pick them up on the side of the road. Flowers are always nice, but not everybody likes flowers. This lady who told me this, that's something she likes. I just happen to like flowers as well, so that's why I'm kind of going on and on about the flowers. But the flowers are really nice as well. Do that sometime for the person that you're involved with. Or not even that. Do it sometime just for your family members. Send them flowers just because you're thinking about them and you want them to know that you wanted to send them something special and personal. Alrighty, another lady says she just wants to be catered to. Now that's a very broad statement. You want to be catered to. What I consider being catered to may not be the same as what somebody else considers being catered to. So just think about what exactly it is, your definition of being catered to, and see if the person, communicate that with them and see if they can do that for you. You may find if you sit back and think about what you really consider being catered to, they might already do it. And if not, just bring it to their attention. Again, that goes both ways, ladies. I can't just take your side. This has to go both ways. All right. Let's see, something else. We're still in the 40. I'm telling you, the 40 plus and the 50 plus women was writing a list out. Let's see. The next thing she said, now what irritates her when it comes to dating, if they don't offer to help when they're actually able to help. Now I told her, I said, okay, you got to break that down to me. What exactly does that mean? They don't offer to help when they're able to help. And she said, and this is just an example. A woman couldn't get off work for whatever reason. She couldn't take off work, but her child needed to go to the doctor. Now, I know this one guy that was dating a female that I know. He really cared about her. He said, hey, I'm able to get off work. I know you can't. Let me take your son for you. He took her son to his doctor's appointment, did everything he was supposed to do. Now, he wasn't the dad, but he was dating her, but he cared about her, and he cared enough about her to want to be able to help her with her son when she wasn't able to get off work. So I think that's kind of what the lady was talking about, and not necessarily that scenario, but just doing something and being able to help when you can. And the one thing she did stress was that she was not talking about anything financial. She said it doesn't have to do anything with money, but just offering to do things when you can, and don't just sit back and watch her have a struggle or be going through something and you're able to help and you choose not to help. Now that speaks about a lot about how he actually feels about that woman too, and vice versa for those men. Now if you have something going on in your life and you're talking to the lady about it and she's not willing to help you on some level, and again, it doesn't have to be financial, sometimes it can just be emotional support or some type of support, but if she is not willing to help you on some level, she don't care about you either. So don't even fool with her too much. And same thing with men. Ladies, if you have a man in your life and you telling him you have something going on, and again, we're not talking about money. It's not always about money. And if he's not willing to help you in some type of way, no matter how big or small it is, but if he's not willing to help you, he don't care too much about you. You can trust and believe that. He don't care too much about you if he's not willing to help you. Again, it doesn't have to be the big thing. So just keep that in mind. But that's one of the things this young lady who was 40 plus told me, that she wants someone in her life that is willing to help, and it's not necessarily financial, but that's one of the things that she wanted. So that's really important. She said, bothers her when a man doesn't offer to help when he's actually in a position to help. Now, there could be a lot of reasons why he's not willing to help. And I'm not going to go on too long because I have a lot of stuff I want to hit, and I've already been talking 12 minutes. I don't want to make this video too long, but I want to keep going. So just if you're able to help somebody that you're involved with or that you're dating, if you're able to help them, help them. That goes both ways. I can tell you, I'm not taking sides. Oh, now this was a big one. A couple of ladies told me this. They said they wanted men to show their emotions. If you're happy, be happy. Smile sometime. If you're sad, it's okay to cry. I know a lot of times, especially in our community, boys are raised, don't cry, be a man, da da da. That's a bunch of bullshit. Don't do that to your sons. If you feel like you need to cry, man, go ahead and cry. That's not going to make you weak or make the woman look at you any differently. Hell, you're human. So that was one thing. A lady said she would like a man to show emotion. Now, she ain't saying sit there and be crying all up in her face all day. That's not what she's saying. But if you want to show your emotion, show your emotion. If you're frustrated, show that you're frustrated. If you're happy, be happy. They just want to see something and not always just an even kill. They want to see you show some emotion. So that was one of the things. Now, this was one that was from the 40 plus and the 50 plus. They said they want a man that have some type of self-control. Not always on defense, not always on defense mode and ready to pop off all the time. And understand that everybody and everything is not against you. And that's one of the things they said. Just have some self-control and don't always be ready to go off on somebody like that. Don't do that. You don't need to do all of that. I mean, I'm quite sure there are some situations where you might have to act like that, but that's not all the time. And two different women say that from two different age groups, that they just want men to have a little bit more self-control. Now, you know, I got to flip it. Women, y'all need self-control too. Don't be popping off, acting a fool, cussing and clowning, and especially don't do that to the men. Just don't do it. It's not a good look. Don't do that. All righty. So one of the other things, and we still on the 40 plus women. Now the 40 plus women was giving me a lot of content. Take the pressure off of the woman. So again, I had to ask her, what exactly are you saying when you say take the pressure off of the woman? She just came out and said, don't allow that woman to struggle. Yeah, she said, don't allow the woman to struggle if you're actually able to assist. That kind of goes back to what we was talking about, not offering to help when you are able to help. So those two things kind of go hand in hand. But the lady just said, I don't want to have to struggle. If he's able to help me, why should I have to struggle? And I can understand that. Nobody wants to struggle. Nobody really wants to do it all alone if it's causing them a lot of, if it's just too much for you and you have someone in your life. It's different now if you by yourself, you're not dating nobody. And I know dating and marriage is different. I get all that. We're not talking about that. These topics are just what ladies say they're looking for when it comes to dating. So, hey, if you don't agree with it, it's cool. You don't have to agree with it. Just go on and do something else. It's okay. Now, she said, take the pressure off. Don't allow me to struggle if you're in a position to help me. I get that. So don't want to date a man that has little or no contact with their biological children. Now, that was one of the ones for me. Who wants to date a man who has no contact with their biological children? I get their issues. Sometimes it can get tricky in there, but be present. There's always a way to be present in your children's life, especially if they're under the age of 21. A man has to do whatever it takes to be a part of his children's life. And that's just, that's non-negotiable. So, and I wasn't the only one who, I wasn't the only, even though I'm in the 50 plus group, a lady in the 40 plus said it. So I'm just saying that she said it and I said the same thing. I would not want to date a man who doesn't have a relationship with his biological children. I just wouldn't want to. And if they live out of town, I know that there can be some barriers there now, but with the technology, you can always Skype, social media, Zoom, all of those things face to face, and then set up regular face to face visits. I don't care what you have to do. There's a way to do that. If it's issues with the mama, just communicate. Just communicate and try to work that thing out where you can have a relationship with your kids. I just feel like if a man is not actively trying to be in his kid's life, that just says something about his character. I just wouldn't want to deal with him. That's just me. And like I said, another young lady in her 40s said the same thing. And if it's any way preventing that relationship, hey, get the courts involved. They'll do it to you. Get the courts involved on her. I'm an advocate for it. Do whatever you got to do to stay in a relationship with your kids. Same thing go for you mamas. Men, don't deal with mamas who don't act right with their kids, who don't have good relationships with their kids, who don't take care of their kids. Men, that's a trifling woman. Don't do it. Do not get involved with them women who ain't taking care of their kids. I'm telling you. All right, so this came from the 50 plus women. Age range 50 plus. Remember, I told you I talked to some people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. So this is what they said. 50 plus women said they want men to be adventurous, which I can get with that. They want them to be open to new experiences and willing to travel. I fully get that. I'm in agreement with that. Be willing to do something different. Like my guy used to tell me that I made him step outside his comfort zone. And that's a good thing. I mean, as long as you're doing something that you're enjoying, you're stepping outside that comfort zone, you're traveling, going all different kind of places, or experiencing things right there in your own hometown. It's okay. But again, half of them said they don't want to deal with somebody who don't want to be adventurous and open to new experiences. Again, now the 50 plus women, I was surprised this didn't come from the 40s because I got a lot of ladies who commented and they said, be honest about your sexual preferences. Because I know they got people out here, men, that really want to sleep with women. They really want to sleep with other men. But for whatever reason, they can't come out with their truth and they still date women. 50 plus women say, hey, you better come out and say what the hell is really going on. Nobody trying to deal with all that. If that's what you do, cool. No judgment zone. Give the woman the opportunity. This goes back to the first thing the lady said in the 40 plus, you got to be honest. So give the woman the opportunity to decide, does she want to deal with you while you dealing with what you're dealing with? If that's what you want to do and you have a desire to be with men, tell these women that's what you want to do. Don't spring that on them. Don't let them be blindsided and they find out you sleeping with Raphael over there and you telling Nicole over here you love her. Don't do that. So that's one thing that this lady said, to let people know what your sexual preferences are, because people do what they do and there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop that, but be honest with people. Don't be playing around lying. Tell the truth. Goes for you women too. Some men don't want women sleeping with other women. If that's what you do, hey, no judgment, do your thing. But be honest to these people you out here dating, okay? That's all we're saying. All righty. Also, one lady said being just doing the same thing over and over and over. She said that's a deal breaker and she's just not dealing with it. She says she wants somebody who wants to do different things. Different things could be, meaning she might want to go play tennis this week, go hot air balloon next week, go riding bicycles on Friday, go fishing on Tuesday. She said that's all she's saying. She just wants somebody that's not monotonous, doing the same thing over and over and over. She said that's going to get boring and she's going to cut your ass loose. So just so you know, 50 plus women not trying to be with somebody who's trying to do the same thing every day, every day, every day, every day. That's boring. All right. 50 plus say they definitely want a man that protects them, which is understandable. You want somebody that when you're with them, you feel protected. And if anything happens, they're going to protect you and make sure that you're secure and that you're okay. So that's one thing that they say that they're looking for. They want to be protected. They also say they don't want no man who's irresponsible with his finances. Now, I say, okay, give me a little context for that. What are you trying to say? She say he has to have a credit score high enough to make a major purchase without a cosigner. Okay, no cosigner. Also, they want a man that pays his bills on time and is not impulsive with his purchases. So that was really important because as you start getting older, you have to start looking at the future. What does your life look like 15 to 20 years from now? You're already in your 50s. Hell, next thing you know, you're going to be in your 70s. So what do you want your financial future to look like? So that's one thing they say. They don't want to be bothered with these men who just frivolous with their money. And I say, okay, I can understand that. Now, on the flip side, ladies, don't be doing all that frivolous shopping. And I know I'm a shopper. I know I'm a shopper. But I ain't missing none of my bills either. There's a difference. So make sure that you're looking at the next couple of months and years down the road. You might not need to buy that expensive purse right now if that's your thing. Everybody don't buy a purse. I'm just saying. That goes on the same. That's flip side. You know, we're going to do it for the men. We got to do it for the women. Ladies, make sure that you're trying to be physically responsible just like you want these men to be in your 50s. All right. Okay. All righty. A lady says she wants a man to hold a door for her. Now you might get it, you might not. It depends on how the man was raised. Now, if he was raised with a bunch of men who didn't do it, he may not have that instilled in him, and you may not want to hold that against him. And maybe you could just tell him, again, go back to the first thing when they were saying about to communicate. Just tell him, I would really appreciate it if you hold a door for me. If he doesn't do it, is it a deal breaker? You have to decide. You can have a really, really, really good guy that doesn't hold the door for you, and you're going to pass him up because you don't want to open your own door, but he checks off all the other boxes. But hey, that's up to you. This is running a little long. I'm gonna try to hurry up, but I got a lot of input, so a lot of people had some things that they wanted to say. So let me keep on going. 50 plus women say they want a man with a stable work history. All right, stable work history. We want you to be able to we don't want you to be a job hopper. But if you're a job hopper, are you job hopping to a better position, a better opportunity, higher income? But by the time you're in your 50s, it's not a good look if you're constantly jumping from job to job. So they say they were looking for stable job history. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but that's what they're looking for. This was a big one. Don't be afraid of PDA. And for those that don't know what PDA, public display of affection. Don't be scared to hold my hand in public. Another lady says she don't want a man that's scared to kiss her in public. Another one, let's see. Kissing, hugging, and hand holding. And I can agree with that 100%. I don't want anyone who's apprehensive about showing how he feels about me in public. Now, you don't want nobody slobbing you down, just laying you down all on the ground and everybody walking by you in the Walmart grocery store. You don't want nobody to do that. However, and I'm just joking around, but you don't want somebody who don't want to show affection to you in front of other people. Now, everybody's idea of showing affection is going to be different. You might be with this guy or this woman that is real touchy-feely, huggy, and just like all of that. The next person, that may not be their thing, but they still may hold your hand while you're walking through the park. So you're just going to have to weigh those things out and see what's important to you. But that's one of the things that I did get from a couple of 50-plus women. They said they want somebody who's not afraid to show PDA. So there it is. They want you to show some self-control. Not already on defense. Remember, the 40-plus lady said that too, but I got that from a 50-plus women. We winding it down, y'all. We almost through. This is a big one, and I think it should go through all age ranges, but some of us don't learn it until a little bit later in life. Be able to listen. Now, everybody thinks that they listen, but they really don't. So, they want you to be able to listen, have the ability to have a conversation while actively listening for understanding and not to respond. There's a lot of people that'll be listening to what you're saying, but in their mind, they're already formulating what the response is going to be, not fully taking in what you're saying. So they may hear you, but they may not be listening to you. They're hearing what you're saying, and they're just thinking, to tell her, da, 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 da. They want you to just actually listen to what they're saying and don't be so ready to respond. Just hear me, hear her. That's what they're saying. But on the flip side, ladies, that same thing goes for the men. If you want them to actually hear what you're saying, quit all that. Because I know how sometimes we can get. Sometimes they just want you to hear them. And if you talk in a decibel that's too high, the man gonna go just like this and shut your ass off, and ain't gonna listen to nothing you saying. So maybe if you're hollering and screaming at him all the time, he not gonna hear it. He not gonna receive it. That's true. He ain't gonna receive it. He not gonna hear it. He gonna want you to shut up. And I know that sounds harsh to say shut up because we're adults, but you know what I mean. He's gonna want you to just pipe it down. He's not gonna hear you. Believe me, he's not gonna hear you. Now, with that being said, so just listen. If somebody's actually trying to tell you something, even if you catch yourself trying to formulate a response, just say, wait a minute, let me actually hear what he's saying and let me actually hear what she's saying so that we can be able to communicate about whatever the issue is at the time. And it may not even be an issue. She might just be talking about something a coworker told at work, but she still wants you to hear her. Or he might be just telling you about what his homeboy was doing down the street. He just wants you to hear him. So just try to actively listen and not listen to respond. Next thing, this was 50 plus. Don't want a man that has a volatile or non-existent relationship with his mama. Now that is a big one. I don't want to deal with no man who got a funked up relationship with his mama. You know why? Because he always going to be searching for his mama, especially if he going to be bouncing around from woman to woman to woman. If he don't have a good relationship with his mama, he going to always be bouncing from woman to woman. If you think I'm lying, check out some of the people that you know that's like that. They're going to be looking for peace. And I don't mean P-I-E-C-E. I mean P-E-A-C-E. He looking for peace because something is missing in there. I promise you something is missing. So I personally, and I had 2 other women say the same thing. They don't want a man who don't have a good relationship with his mama or non-existent. That's what I said. And then they were like, oh yeah, I don't want one that got a non-existent relationship with his mama. That already sounds like that's getting ready to be some problems and I don't want to deal with it. And you don't want anybody with a volatile relationship with the mama, because some people, get with their mama like that's a dude out on the street. I don't want nobody like that either, because if he's willing to do the woman who brought him in the world like that, he'll do me like that, and that ain't gonna be a good sight. All right, keep on going. Another lady who was in her 50s says she don't want to date anyone that has had a traumatic childhood and didn't try to seek any counseling. Now that can go both ways, ladies and men. If you've had a lot of things go on in your childhood and you have not tried to resolve those issues, whatever they may be, try to seek counseling and get those things. You ain't gonna be good for nobody until you work on those issues. And that's a lot of things. That's a lot of the problems that we have. We all have issues. Do not think that somebody out there don't have issues. We all have issues, and that is the honest to God truth. And if we're not trying to work on those issues personally, it's gonna be all jacked up when we get with somebody else. I'm telling you. All right. Now, a 60 plus woman. She told me, she said he must not be a couch potato. She said she wants somebody that's still vibrant and wants to enjoy life outside of the home. Doesn't want somebody that works and come home and sit down on the couch. She said, Gwen, I ain't trying to have no couch potato. She said, I want somebody that's still vibrant, want to go out, not necessarily go out like clubbing out, but just out and about doing things, staying active. She's saying, if he don't at my age, I'm going to get somebody younger. I said, you better say that. She said she's going to get somebody younger if the old man just want to go home and sit on the couch and do nothing. Now, on the flip side, ladies, I told you we got to go back and forth. If you are an older woman and you have a man in your life that's still vibrant, want to go places and do things, go and do it. Don't just sit at home, want to watch TV, sit on the porch. Y'all got to be on the same page. It's okay to just stay at home every now and then, but if you have somebody that's active and want to go out, want to explore, want to experience different things, if you don't want to do that, then maybe y'all don't need to date and be together, because there's always going to be some confusion or it's going to be some resentment, and eventually they're going to let you go anyway. So, all right. Now, there was a 30 plus couple that gave they were a couple, they were 30 plus. They didn't say the dues, but the one thing they did say, and I was a little impressed since they were in their 30s, they said the one don't that they have is that they will not take a relationship break. You know how people go through things, and you've heard what people say, well, we just gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break because I'm tired. They said that they vowed when they first started dating that they would not take a break, because when you take a break, it just means that you're not committed to the relationship and you really want a minute to go off and do what you want to do. And then you're going to try to come back. Oh, let's fix this after you done went off and did who knows what. But they said that they both agreed that if they felt like they needed to take a break, they were just going to cut the relationship off altogether, go their separate ways, and be done with it. And I was like, okay, all right. Now, there was a gentleman that was in his 50s. He didn't give me do's and don'ts. he gave me a list of topics, and I was like, man, I wish he would have gave me some do's and don'ts, because I really wish I could have had more input from men. And I didn't get a lot, but I got a lot of input from women. So that's why this video is just based on what majority of women were telling me. The gentleman said that he thought a good topic would be talking about accountability, talking about forgiveness, and he said talk about what is disrespectful. Well, that was kind of broad, because I wasn't really sure what he meant when he said talk about what's disrespectful, because again, we're dealing with human beings. What's disrespectful to me may not be disrespectful to this young lady that's 20, or disrespectful to this man that's 45, or disrespectful to a lady that's 60. It's just kind of subjective. Everybody's going to have their own level of what being disrespectful is. So, I mean, maybe if some people can give me some topics of what their disrespectful is, we can talk about those scenarios if you give me some topics. But that's too broad of a statement to say what is disrespectful. Now, accountability in a relationship is really important. You have to be accountable to the person that you're with. I'm not saying somebody has to know every single move, every breath you take, everything. I'm not saying that. But there has to be a level of accountability to the person that you're dealing with. It's just important to help the relationship. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's cool. You don't have to agree with nothing I said on here. I'm okay with that. But accountability is important in a relationship. And also forgiveness. Now, I've always said, yes, you can forgive people in a relationship. You can forgive them if they've done something that you feel like you need to forgive them for. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with forgiveness. God forgives us every single day. You know we're not perfect. But what I will say about forgiveness is not for the other person. And I'm going to end with this, because I didn't went on. This thing has been 31 minutes. And I don't know if everybody can watch the whole video, but you might get something that you can use. One thing I will say about forgiveness, and I always say this, forgiveness is not for the person that you're forgiving. Forgiveness is for yourself. When you forgive yourself, when you forgive the other person, it's really for you to internally release whatever it is was going on, whatever that person did for you. That forgiveness is for you. So if you don't get nothing else out of this, and I know some of this stuff I was just joking about, but I was serious too. Just remember, if there's anything you want to do in a relationship, be willing to forgive somebody, be willing to listen to them, be willing to communicate, be accountable to them. And that's all I have. Again, by no means am I a relationship expert, but on my Facebook Watch and Whisper page, these are some of the things people said they want to talk about. I want to thank everybody who was willing to give me some input. I had 2 pages. Who was willing to give me some do's and don'ts when it came to relationship. Again, we always have to look at it from both spectrums, not just the man, not just the woman. We have to, don't just be one-sided and say, well, I'm a woman, so I'm looking at it from this way. No, it doesn't work that way. You're dealing with 2 individuals, 2 human beings. One just happened to be a man, one just happened to be a woman, or woman, man, however you want to do it. I've always been told same sex is going to be the same relationship issue. So whatever you're out there doing is your thing. I don't knock anybody for what they're doing. Relationships can be a beautiful, beautiful thing, especially if you have somebody in your life that treats you exactly how you want to be treated, respects you the way you want to be respected, handle you the way you want to be handled. That's a beautiful thing. You should cherish that. So with that being said, I would like to say thank you to the people, again, that gave me some of the comments in here about the relationship. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for taking these 32 minutes to watch the entire video. I know it's a lot, but I said I was going to do it, and I did it. All right. Thank you for coming to Watch and Whisper. You have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, London. Bye, Bam.